Good afternoon from London. It's a bright spring afternoon here in London. And hello to all dear comrades, friends, and supporters from me, Dr. Dermot Hudson, the chairman of the British Group for the Study of the Juche idea, chairman of the Korean Friendship Association of the UK, and official delegate of KFA for the UK. President of the Association for the Study of Songun Politics UK, and of course the owner of this very self-same channel, Songun 007, the militant voice of Songun and Juche in the UK, defending people's Korea with no ifs or buts. And of course, today is March the 8th, International Women's Day, which is actually an important holiday in people's career. So I'll be giving a short talk in a minute about it, and also it will be partly covered in the live stream I'm going to do tonight at 7 p.m. UK time. So, yeah, March the 8th is celebrated throughout the world as International Women's Day. However, in many countries, the celebration of International Women's Day is quite meaningless. It is just talk because although there's all kinds of equality legislation in the capitalist countries, in fact, the position of women in capitalist countries is actually bad because of the gender pay gap, as well as various forms of discrimination and violence against women, and the over sexualization of society. In fact, in terms of equality legislation, people's career actually far, far ahead of any so-called free Western country. On the 30th of July 1946, the Provisional People's Committee of North Korea enacted the law on sexual equality. Article 3 of that law stated that women have the same rights as men to workers' rights, equal wages, social insurance, and education. End quote. However, the UK did not pass the Equal Pay Act until 1970, some 24 years later than the DPRK. The US passed its Equal Pay Act in 1963, some 17 years later than the DPRK. And it's interesting to note, and as an aside, that the UK Equal Pay Act was actually modelled on the US one, so Britain copying the US yet again. It is also noteworthy in the DPRK that right from the first days, women had the right to vote and to be elected, whereas in the UK, women finally got the fully the right to vote in 1928, some 70 years late after men, and had gained the right to vote. In people's career, the right of women to equal pay and to work is reinforced by a number of measures, such as the provision of free childcare, which is also a legal right in the DPRK. The DPRK has daily nurseries and creches and even 24-hour nurseries which are open 7 days a week. These are completely free of charge, but in Britain, according to the website Day Nurseries, and I quote, the average cost of putting a child in a nursery part-time is just under £8,000 in 2023. Many families have to plan their budget carefully to cover the fees. End of quotation. This would mean that many women would be out of pocket after paying childcare. So, much vaunted equality in Britain an illusion. I was able to visit the Changwon Kindergarten in central Pyongyang in 2008 and other times. It had 10 floors and included an indoor swimming pool. Every child there received 120 grams of rice per day. The facilities far surpassed those in Britain, which has only small, pokey private nurseries, which some of which are unsafe because there's been cases of toddlers escaping from nurseries in the UK because they're poorly run. In People's Korea, women's equality and women's liberation is real because it is based on the Juche idea and on socialism. In the West, there was simply bourgeois feminism, which actually pitted men against women against men, and so on, and only served the interests of women from the capitalist class, not working class women. The great leader, President Kim Il-sung, recognized the importance of solving the women's question in the DPRK, pointing out that if a society is to run normally, women who account for one half of the population must play their role satisfactorily if we are to revolutionize and working classize the whole of society. We must also revolutionize and working class size women, just as a wagon cannot run smoothly if only one of its wheels functions. So society cannot develop on a sound basis when only men fulfill their duties. Only when women are revolutionized and actively participate in the revolution construction can the whole of society be revolutionized and working classized. End of quotation. In the DPRK, more and more women are being appointed to high positions, such as Comrade Kim Yo-jong, the Vice Department Director of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, Comrade Choi Sun-hee, the Foreign Minister of the DPRK, and Comrade Shong Wol-song, the singer and member of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. Some factories have women managers or directors. For example, in February 2019, I was shown round the kimchi factory by the general manager, who was a woman. When I first visited the DPRK in May 1992, in those days, the women I saw tended to be waitresses, shop assistants, and in other jobs. However, in the last 20 years, I've seen more and more women in positions of responsibility, including women guides. People's Korea, under the leadership of the respected Marshal Kim Jong-un, is making great strides forward. People's Korea is a land where the ideals of March 8th, International Women's Day, are indeed a reality. Thank you for listening to this video. I'll be back in a few hours with the live broadcast, which will include a section on Women's Day. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel Songun 007, please consider subscribing and share content as much as possible. I was going to also say, please subscribe to our affiliated channel, Korean Friendship Association of the UK, but fascist Google have actually disabled the channel. I'll be saying more about that later. And you can support us by buying our publications from lulu.com. Please buy as many as possible and tell your friends about it. And also you can donate to us or to me, and please support our online and real life events. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. See you later. Goodbye.